Undeterred, the committee began their investigations, and the money trail led quickly to the original allegations of child abuse. Carolyn Stitt was one of the first to testify.
The night before we testified before the legislative committee, I did receive a phone call at home that said, if you speak, you won't live to regret it.
To protect the inquiry, Schmidt's committee hired special legal counsel and full-time professional investigators, Gary Caradori and Karen Ormiston.
I said, we do not want you to bring to the committee rumors, innuendos, nothing that cannot be backed up with facts. I said, bring to the committee that which we can take to a prosecutor.
The investigators found new victims of King's pedophile network, many on the streets of Omaha. The picture they built up was of a large ring of rich and powerful pedophiles, many named the same men as those involved with the Boys Town cases 3 years earlier.
They were telling us about prominent people in Omaha and elsewhere that were abusing children at parties.
The prominent citizens' names that originally came up were a concern to me because I knew many of those individuals, and I very practically shocked to have those names show up on the list.
To provide the committee with hard evidence, the investigators recorded their new witnesses on videotape. Paul Bonassi had been the victim of abuse since he was 8. He was present at many of Larry King's sex parties. Caradori traced him to the county jail. He had been convicted of fondling his young cousin.
Who are some of these people that would come to these parties?
Media personality Peter Citron procured some of his victims from Boys Town.
The kids he liked were mainly around the age of probably about 8 and 13. It was mainly fondling and oral sex with them. He did have some anal sex, but he usually did that with the older kids.
The parties involved ever more sadistic abuse.
And everything was tied up where, was there anybody else present other than you, Peter Citron? Yeah. Who was that?
Millionaire Alan Baer hosted parties for a large number of sadistic pedophiles. Paul Bonassi suffered at their hands.
You okay? This time nothing. I had somebody say, phone sex on me, and phone things on me, and things like that. Okay. Just take a deep breath out. And control on it. Troy Bonner was the tie-on.
Troy Bonner was found by the investigators and his videotape testimony taken under oath.
I was shocked when I walked in. That's what I would say about 15 years old. I'm in the older room. One guy was standing in front of him. He was bent over, and the other guy was like reaching under him, playing with his nipples. Wow. A guy who Jeff told me was a police officer shoving beads up his rectum. The police officer was shoving beads up his rectum? Yes.
Bonner named Alan Baer as the man who introduced him to the sex parties.
Alan Baer was a sick fuck. Didn't care, wanted sex, nasty, I don't even know if you can call it sex. Everything, from just, touching to fruit, squash, huge squash, that big around, stuck into your ass, heat things, hot things, poked at you and stuck in you.
But the center of the child sex ring was Larry King.
Larry King was the same kind of sick fuck Alan Baer was, except Larry King was more violent, more sure of himself, you know. I got those scars on my own one night at a party with Larry King, you know, when I got to see how strong a man we were or something, you know, and have us put your arms together. And you'd light cigarettes, and as soon as you get burning, you just drop them down between your arms and, you know, let it burn. You know, and then we'll just stand there naked and touch each other by holding our arms together and burn cigarettes for, you know, it's on film someplace. And they filmed it. Burning, you know. I mean, I would, you know, see him fuck a 10-year-old boy in the ass, you know, until he bled, and, you know, just pull out and stop, and, you know, push him down, you know, and, you know, then go out and, you know, meet with decent people.
King would also provide underage girls for abuse. Alicia Owen told the investigators she was 15 when she attended her first party, introduced by a Boys Town boy. Caradori discovered her in jail where she was serving a sentence for passing bad checks.
And that guy said it was from Boys Town. And it was at that time that I met Larry King. At the time that I met Larry King, I did not know that he was Larry King. I had met him at the first time I'd ever met him.
Larry King and Alan Baer frequently hosted the child sex parties in penthouse apartments at the Twin Towers luxury block in Omaha.
A lot of it was me handcuffed with my hands behind my head and my feet tied and doing different things. Sometimes you do guys staring over my face.
Okay.
Most of the time, Larry King took pictures quite a bit during that time.
I know it's difficult.
I don't know.
Okay.
Well, I think I could say about it.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. And you know, Alicia, you're a victim. And with a young age, let's go up there, my friend.